Is there a world where the Arizona Cardinals can have releasers remorse after releasing Kyler Murray? Is there a world that's possible? Plus, it's a deep free agent O-line class. You know, that gets me excited. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Locked On Cardinals, Alex Clancy here. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast platform. A lot to talk about today. The Cardinals, it was released this morning. They'll be playing in the Hall of Fame game, early August, Canton, right? You know, around the time where Larry Fitzgerald will get his enshrinement into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So we'll discuss that in the third segment. Deep free agent class, deep free agent offensive line class. Did the combine make it even more imperative for the Cardinals to hit in free agency with respect to the offensive line? I'll discuss that. And then listen, Kyler Murray is going to be released first day of the new league year next week. Okay. After looking at social media, talking with friends, talking with Locked On hosts from other markets, talking with, just friends I've made over the years in other markets who, in the Minnesota region, in Atlanta, with East Rutherford, with the Jets, when you go through a breakup and it's like, did I make the right choice? Sometimes that happens. Other times it's like, yeah, this just didn't work out. But sometimes it's like, did I make a mistake? It's that remorse that usually is some sort of just inherent thing in your brain because things are changing and people resist change sometimes. So that's kind of, I'm opening up, laying on the couch as it is right now, and just explaining to you, like, do you guys feel that way too? That it's like you're having this existential crisis, a little one, where it's like, did the Cardinals make the wrong move? Did they make the wrong move? Is this going to bite them in the ass? Did they make the wrong move? Now, there's a bunch of different layers to this. So first off, did they make the wrong move? No. Is Kyler Murray the best quarterback the Cardinals could have on their roster in 2026? Yes. That in lies the mystery that is the Arizona Cardinals. They just can't have nice things, as so many fans in my DMs are saying. No fans of me, just Cardinals fans. Can't have nice things. But it's difficult to remember the bad when we haven't seen it in a while. That's just human nature, dude. Okay? If Kyler Murray played for, 15 of the 17 weeks last year, 17 games last year, and they won 7 games, it's like, okay, you can kind of remember why it's bad. And then as much as I defend Jacoby Brissett's valiant effort to keep this team afloat, he went 1-11, so not great. And the excitement I had with the verticality of this offense that we hadn't really seen, the good about Kyler Murray was really good. And it's not like, it's so difficult because, and this is why I struggled so much during his time here. It's even weird to say that he's not the quarterback of the Cardinals anymore. Very rarely in one person can you see those peaks and valleys. Like, bad quarterbacks best doesn't even know what area code or zip code Kyler Murray's best is. So you could have an average quarterback. Just take Jacoby Brissett. You know exactly what you're going to get. You know exactly what you're going to get. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's exactly what you're going to get. So normally, when guys are looked at as average or slightly above average with their body of work, it's because of that. It's not because, he's a bottom 5 quarterback or a top 5 quarterback. Just depends on what series it is. And that is, I say that somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but at Kyler Murray's best, I could argue he's a top 7 quarterback in the league. Truly, at his absolute best. Now, so many things need to go right for that to happen. But that's why I think even questioning if there's going to be a remorse is there. Also for the fact that they're going to take a step back in the quarterback room in 2026 regardless. Unless they bring in Malik Willis and somehow he's the next wunderkind, whatever. So that's kind of a ass-backwards way to have to deal with a quarterback being released. It's like, well, he's the best option. Yeah, but it's not going to work. Yeah, he's not that great a lot. But when he is, he's really good. There's not a lot of quarterbacks you can say that about. It's not a good thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a thing. So the second level to this, the second wrinkle to this is questioning. If Kyler Murray goes somewhere and balls out, would the Cardinals have any releaser's remorse is what I called it, because it's not seller, it's not buyer, it's releaser because they released him. No. 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 Because this isn't even like another thing that's hard to distinguish here, because the Cardinals have just had dysfunction since the first seed was planted with the Chicago Cardinals. They have all of history going against them with this argument. So it's like, oh, there's just another player that goes Looney Tunes somewhere else, wins a couple playoff games, makes a deep run on his first or second year away from the team. We haven't really seen that from the quarterbacks the Cardinals have seen go elsewhere. But it's also not going to sting if it happens, in my opinion, because there was no world where this was a fit anymore. And that's okay. We're starting to see the polarization. Well, it's never gone anywhere. It's just been, hibernating. It's been dormant because Kyler hasn't played since week 5 of last year. But then we're starting to see the massive polarization. You're team Kyler or you're not. And it never really I don't know if somebody transitioned from one side to the other. I don't know if somebody got up in the middle of a game and just walked over. I'm team Kyler now. I think it's just since day one, either you liked them or you didn't. And that's kind of foolish, but I could, the confirmation bias is there for both sides equally. I mean, a little bit more on the don't like Kyler because he didn't win a playoff game. For me, I was never on the side of not Kyler Murray's side. That was a terrible sentence. I have to say one smart thing extra this month to make up for that. I was never not team Kyler. Week 6 of last year, I voted independent instead. I took my hat out of the race. Obviously, because if you had known he was out for the year in week 5 or week 6, you're having a completely different conversation the rest of the year. It's like there was always, we thought, a really strong chance he would come back. Put on IR, 6 to 8 weeks, comes back. And he just never did. But the blanket question of, are they going to have any sort of remorse if he goes somewhere else and wins a couple playoff games and does what people thought he could do here? No. Time was up. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't, it seems like it could matter. It seems like it could bruise the ego of the Arizona Cardinals. Oh, boo-hoo. It's not that. This has nothing to do with the organization. Dysfunctionality aside, while that normally is a huge, main role in any sort of play talking about the Arizona Cardinals, not this time. Not this time. It was over. The milk expired. The relationship ended. And that's it. And that's okay. I will say the blame pie is probably 60-40 Cardinals. The only thing that we're going to see from Kyler Murray moving forward is going to reflect, in my opinion, on Cliff Kingsbury and Steve Keim. That's going to be it. And I'm getting a lot of pushback on social, which is fine. I think that Cliff Kingsbury severely crippled Kyler Murray's ability to learn and grow and mature as a quarterback in the NFL. Truly. He wasn't equipped to do it. He may be a good play caller. He's a terrible head coach. And the Cardinals needed a head coach. So here we are. Cardinals moving on from Kyler Murray, off to the next thing. But will they have releaser's remorse? A dumb way for me to say, are they going to be remorseful if Kyler Murray goes and goes nuts and balls out somewhere else? No. It's a new chapter. He is now the past. Not a bad thing, not a good thing. It's just a fact. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. There's a deep, old free agent O-line group. I'm excited. Are you? I don't know. We'll talk about it next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by BetterHelp. Listen, March is a time to celebrate women, especially around International Women's Day, and to recognize just how much they carry at work, in relationships, in families, and in all the unseen roles they step into every day. It's easy to celebrate that strength, but it's just as important to make space for their emotional well-being. And honestly, that goes for all of us. I think about my mom and my sister. My mom's bust her ass working as a real estate agent for 20 plus years and where they live. And, I talk to them. I talk to her a couple times a week, 3-4 times a week. And it's just nice to show appreciation for my sister as well. It's just, they do so much and, they should definitely be appreciated. Your emotional well-being matters. Find support and feel lighter in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/lockedon. That's betterhelp.com/lockedon. Please go to the YouTube channel, search Locked On Arizona Cardinals, hit that subscribe button, man. I saw I never look at analytics for YouTube because whatever, I just record and post, but I see that almost 50% of the viewers aren't subscribed. Just hit a little subscribe. You don't even have to turn the notifications on. It helps pass the word on to others. It's a quick thing. It helps me. I love being here for you guys every day. Hit a little quick subscribe. Doesn't hurt anybody. Also, equally as important, free agency is here, and so are we. Get 1 month free of the Everydayers Club with code FREEAGENCY. No spaces now through March 15th. Go ad-free and keep the conversation going on Discord. Just join at lockedoncardinals.supercast.com. Big O-line group going into free agency. And the reason why I'm excited about this is there are a couple names that you and I have discussed on this very show from years past who I was hoping the Arizona Cardinals would take, who are now free agents. So you've got Tyler Linderbaum first, who is probably, I would assume that the Ravens are going to retain him. There are rumblings out. It's going to be 4-year, $80 million for a center. It's going to be the most money center's ever made. I don't know if that's inked yet, but technically he's still a free agent right as we speak. But there are other names, dude. Like Jordan Schultz put this out. Rasheed Walker, David Edwards, Jermaine Muner, who from the Giants, who I talked about yesterday. I think that dude could be a steal for the Cardinals. Chris Paul, Zion Johnson, Elijah Vera Tucker. Do we remember those names? Elijah Vera Tucker from USC, Zion Johnson from Boston College. I think Elijah Vera Tucker went to USC. Those were two guys, interior offensive linemen, who I think would be steals for the Cardinals. Now, Zion Johnson was with the Chargers. He got drafted by the Chargers. And I think that a detriment to him, massive one, was Rashawn Slater and then Joe Alt not able to stay healthy. You need a competent tackle to be able to do your job well. It's a team. And I think their center play wasn't fantastic either. I think Zion Johnson would be great. Be low impact. Mekhi Becton is now out, another name. He was a name from the Isaiah Simmons draft. It was Tristan Wirfs, Jedrick Wills, Mekhi Becton. I believe those are the three that were looked at as offensive line choices potentially for the Cardinals at 8. Mekhi Becton obviously hasn't had the career that people thought he was going to, riddled with injuries with the Jets. And then, he's kind of been, I think he was with Philly for a year. But there are so many offensive linemen that are available. Now, this is a double-edged sword again. You're going to have to overpay, probably, for the talent that you're going to get. See Jonah Williams. Here's the thing. For me, the combine kind of scared me a little bit. It was just a stark reminder from what I've watched with college football all year that this draft, there's going to be some D tackles. There are a couple pass rushers. There are a couple offensive linemen. And that's about it. You got some receivers. But for the Cardinals, I still think Francis Maui-Noah at 3 is the choice for me. Okay? Everybody has their own opinion. That's great. Because here's the thing. We have no idea what the landscape's going to look like because we haven't even hit free agency. We haven't hit legal tampering yet. So my thought process is the Cardinals can clear as much cap. I don't know if they're going to drop ADG. I don't know if they're going to cut Zaven Collins. I have no idea. But what I do know is they have 2 or 3 holes to fill in the offensive line, including right tackle. I'm good with Evan Brown coming back as a backup. I'm good with Isaiah Adams coming back as a backup, a swing backup. Okay, you got John Gaines too. So you've got some depth in the interior offensive line. You need so much more. And Kelvin Beachum can be that spot start guy if he chooses to come back at right tackle. He's been fine. Okay, he's not even close to the reason why the Arizona Cardinals offensive line is cratered. I mean, listen, down the stretch last year, they played really well. The offensive line did the last 6 weeks of the season. It was that middle, like 7 or 8 weeks where it was just terrible. And Jacoby Brissett didn't help with that. I understand. The combine scared me. And now I am under this, the anxiety meter is through the roof, where it's like, they got to nail free agency. I'm bringing 2 offensive linemen in, either Joel Bitonio or Wyatt Teller. And even if you bring in a right tackle and draft one, like here's the thing. And listen, if they bring in a right tackle and a right guard in free agency, fine. You can go pass rush at 3. I give the permission to go pass rush at 3. Hell, if you want to bring Jeremiah Love in at that point, it's a different conversation then. But the Cardinals don't know who their quarterback is. The right side of the offensive line is bottom 3 in the league, and they need a pass rusher. So there are other things that the Cardinals need to do in free agency that will pave the way for being able to see the forest through the trees before the draft. So the fact that there are so many offensive linemen on the market for one reason or another, these aren't all bottom dwelling talent guys. And I'm sure there's going to be some retention. I'm sure a couple of the guys are going to go back to the same team. I can't see a world where Tyler Linderbaum doesn't go back to Baltimore. But the Cardinals also can't pay him $20 million a year. So wouldn't that be funny though? Full circle. The Hollywood Brown trade, the dumbest trade Steve Keim ever made. Yeah. Oh, well. Cardinals. But listen, and let me know what you think in the comments. And seriously, join the Everyday Club. You get a month free. You can rewind back to the code. You get a free month if you go through March 15th. You get a free month. We're having these conversations in Discord. I want to do more conversational stuff with you guys, and this is a great thing to talk about. It's a great thing to talk about. They need to nail free agency. I thought that they nailed free agency last year. Truly, I did, and I still do. I mean, Calais was good. Dalvin Tomlinson was fine. Josh Sweat was great. He had 12 sacks. They didn't do anything to the offense, which is problematic. So they're going to have to take that level of impact and just shift it to the offensive side of the ball this offseason. It looked incomplete because they only bolstered one side, and then that side ended up crippling because of injuries and then bad play, and, it was tough. When you tell me there's a free agent class like this with the offensive line, licking your chops here. Because the Cardinals can make real impact. They can do real damage in one offseason and turn a weakness into a strength. So I know that I'm hard-headed about the offensive line thing. I get it. I understand. And it could sound like a broken record sometimes, but I just want to reinforce that if you don't protect the quarterback, nothing else matters. Truly. It doesn't matter. Unless you've got the Legion of Boom defense like Russell Wilson did with Seattle when they had a terrible offensive line for years and years and years. I just hope the Cardinals figure out the right elixir to make things work for 2026. I think you and I could agree on that. Cardinals are playing in the Hall of Fame game. Normally, I would say barf, who cares? Not like that. Watching the Cardinals I love watching the Cardinals every time. It's more content for me. But we're going to get to see them a couple weeks earlier than we would have if it was just a regular preseason slate. Does it mean anything at all? I will discuss that next.
Hey, it's Matt Derry from the Locked On Lions podcast. The people I love depend on me. If I'm gone, the financial responsibilities don't disappear. I didn't want my family figuring things out during the hardest moment of their lives. That's why I knew only one place to go. I chose life insurance through my friends at Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy, 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. I love the folks at Ethos. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get the free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. That is ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. Ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. Application times and rates may vary.
YouTube channel, subscribe, Big Dumb Face every day. Cardinals are playing the Hall of Fame game, Canton, alongside Larry Fitzgerald's enshrinement into the Hall of Fame. I think this will be fun. I think it'll be fun. I want to see them on the field as quickly as possible. And it's not like anticipate, nobody's going to play, but that doesn't really matter. Like the first thing that triggers me is like, I'm thinking about the first preseason game that Jonathan Gannon coached. And you're like, well, is he going to be a good head coach? Is he even a head coach? Like, it's weird, coordinator, whatever. I was like, I wish I would have brought in Shane Steichen instead because, Kyler Murray, whatever. But it's like, let's see what the guy's got. And then immediately, like, oh, that guy's a head coach. You can just tell by body language. I know body language doesn't do everything, but like, it's like, oh, head coach. Cool. Check. I don't know if I was right or wrong. I guess we'll see when he gets another head coaching job. But I want to see it right away. And the interesting part is, with everybody being injured last year, I wonder if there's going to be a little bit more run for the second-year guys. Second-year guys, third-year guys. Or that could be the complete opposite, where it's like, oh, we're attempting anything to fade here. You're not touching that field. If Malik Willis is the quarterback, like whoever's the quarterback, I'm assuming you're going to want to run a series or two. Like, we're starting to see the trend back to starters playing in the preseason. We've seen it over the last 4 or 5 years. Like, well, the Bills and the Chiefs always play their guys. I get it. That's fine. That's great. And they win. Their preseason success or lack thereof has nothing to do with their regular season success. At least not the first week of preseason. But with how many injuries there were, how many new pieces there were going to be on offense, you'd expect new head coach, new offense, new offensive coordinator. Like, this is the McVay tree, Either they're going to sit everybody or they're going to play some guys. But I think it's going to be great. Like, and they're playing Carolina because Luke Kuechly is getting into his Hall of Fame, getting his bust after being a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think it'll be cool for Larry. Like, this is the crowning achievement of the Arizona Cardinals and probably Phoenix sports in general. Like, is he the face of Arizona sports? I know the Suns it's been a Suns town. I know people will say, well, what about Shane Doan? Like, but Diamondbacks don't really have it. What, Gonzo? I think it's probably Larry. But, with this out, it's like, cool. That's fine. Like, this is this is another thing that it made me think. So it's like, okay. And we get to see Michael LaFleur on the sideline for the first time, which is always good. You want to see it. You get to see it a couple weeks early. Great. Cool. They have more time. They'll have more time to rest up. Whatever it is. This is the other thing. I'm sure, not positive, but I'm sure this was a Larry Fitzgerald thing. Makes sense. Cardinals aren't good. Let's just throw them in there. Okay. But this probably will not be the last one. I have a sneaking suspicion the Cardinals will be looked at as the new Jacksonville Jaguars from a handful of years ago, where they just play overseas 2-3 times a year. I feel like this year is going to be that. I just feel like this is what this is the doldrums the Cardinals are in. It's like, oh, let's do the first game in Buenos Aires. Cardinals. Whee! It's very Jacksonville Jaguars-y from like before Trevor Lawrence. And even like the second year of Trevor Lawrence. Like, they always travel. They're always in the UK playing a game every year. And there were even, rumblings that Chad Conn was going to move the Jaguars to the UK. And that was like the test run. But I think Chad Conn's still the owner. But I think that this is like the first step. This is the first one. And you could very well see the Cardinals using, quote, one of their, quote, home games to be going overseas. And knowing Michael Bidwell, man, I could actually make money on those tickets. Yeah, cool. Let's do it. I don't care. The Cardinals are going to have, they're supposed to have an easier schedule in 2026 because they finished last in their division last year. And I know that not every team that finishes last gets a last place schedule. But their schedule is set to be more difficult than it was last year. And obviously, strength of schedule from one year to another, so many things change. There's going to be good teams that are bad teams that are good. But lucky for the Cardinals, the NFC West is still really good. So that's going to tip the scales into much more difficult territory, obviously, than if whoever finished last in the Saints, whoever finished last in the NFC South, their last place schedule, they got to play the NFC South. While not a terrible division, definitely nothing like the murderer's row that is the NFC West. So this is going to be an uphill climb. It's been going through the mud and the muck for a year plus. But that's not to say that they can't have a positive 2026. That's not to say that they can't start winning games, the 50-50 games that good teams win. Everything changes when you have a new head coach and new quarterback. Could be good, could be bad. But I do think that them getting popped for the Hall of Fame game while seeing, Larry Fitzgerald and Luke Kuechly, that makes sense that they'd be the guy. It just made me think Cardinals going to get some frequent flyer miles in 2026. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you tomorrow.